It is Friday. It's the 27th of September. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Our top stories today. But first, a rare case of international agreement to do something about Syria. The UN Security Council could vote later today on a draft resolution. It would place legally binding obligations on Damascus to get rid of its chemical weapons. There would be no automatic retribution if Syria fails to comply. Well, weapons inspectors could go to work tracking down Syria's chemical arsenal next Tuesday if the resolution passes. We take you to the investigation now into the Kenya mall attack and the hunt for one of the world's most wanted women. Interpol has issued a red notice for the so-called White Widow. She's 29-year-old Samantha Luthwaite. A red notice alerts law enforcement that someone is wanted, but it is not an international arrest warrant. She is in Nairobi, Kenya, and she joins us now on the phone with more. Zane?
Hi, Monita. Eyewitnesses report seeing a white woman in Westgate Mall. There was also an army colonel that said the same thing.
Zane, thank you so much. Zane Verjee there on the phone for us from Nairobi. For the first time in over 30 years, senior representatives of the U.S. and Iran held talks. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif had a quick discussion on Thursday after a UN Security Council meeting. The two men say their talks about Iran's nuclear program were constructive. CNN's Reza Sayed joins us now live from Tehran. Reza, the expectations for something conclusive to come out of these talks are indeed very high. But what is Tehran's stance on its nuclear program?
Tehran's stance is they're willing to give up some concessions.
Reza Sayed in Tehran, thank you so much. At least 5 people have been killed in a building that collapsed in India. Dozens of people are feared trapped in the rubble in Mumbai. The 5-story residential building housed about 22 apartments and a decorating firm on its ground floor. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong as football bosses wrangle about a Winter World Cup in Qatar. Reports emerge of modern-day slavery on the construction sites. We'll bring you more on that next. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. Up to 1 million migrant workers will be needed to build stadiums and infrastructure for the World Cup in Qatar. But unions say hundreds are dying every year and thousands more could be killed before a ball is kicked in 2022. Right now, Qatar employs 1.2 million migrant workers. That's according to the International Trade Union Confederation. General Secretary of the ITUC, and she joins us now from Brussels. Sharon, give us an idea of what kind of conditions we're talking about here.
You're talking about a slave state. That's an extreme statement, I know, in the 21st century.
Points there, Sharon. We thank you very much for being with us here on the show. Sharon Burrow, the General Secretary of the ITUC, joining us from Brussels. More than 100 women from around the world are in Indonesia for the annual Miss World Beauty pageant, but the threat of unrest is hanging over the competition as Muslim hardliners stage angry protests against the event. Anna Korn has the details.
It's an event that's been running for more than 6 decades. But this year, the Miss World pageant was met with threats of violence. Indonesia.
You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. A long-awaited UN-backed report on climate change is... You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. A group of leading climate change scientists say they are more sure than ever that humans are causing global warming. In a long-awaited report just released, the scientists say it is extremely likely that our activity, human activity, accounts for at least half of global warming since the 1950s. Warmer waters in the Atlantic Ocean are having a direct impact on the sea life there. Researchers studying salmon say the fish being caught off the coast of Scotland are getting smaller. Matthew Chance went to speak to some Scottish fishermen to find out more.
In the pristine waters of this picturesque Scottish coast, an ancient fishing...
Meanwhile, parts of Mexico are seeing some very heavy rain again. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center with more on that. Mari?
Yeah, these are the very same areas that were affected by those twin tropical cyclones, remember, just about a week ago. Monita, back to you.
Mari, thank you very much for that. You are watching CNN News Centre. I'm Monita Rajpal, live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. Stick around, though. I'll update you with the news headlines in just a few minutes.